If you think a cheerleading event is inherently sexual,
what we need to do is exercise discipline as a community. Are there weird people in the leftist
discipline? Oh yeah, this is an RGR take. We need to be looking for that sus person in the queer community and just throw them to the crowd. I can't die on stream. That would be TOS, okay? Whether or not you're a demon in real life, remember to like and subscribe. It really helps me out. If you get a chance, leave a comment down there too. I do answer those. No, even though I'm no comment chick, I will still read and respond to your comment. And I might be sassy. I gotta take a picture of myself, huh? Yeah, that one looks like really cute and vulnerable. That's what people like about me, right? Is that what you like about me, chat? That I'm cute and vulnerable? No, just, I don't know why I said that. That sounds weird. Freems actually made a pretty banger tweet and actually got a lot of attention for it, right? It was a picture of Hooters. There were kids there, right? Now, I mean, like, you can say what you will about the parenting choices involved in taking your kids to Hooters, but most people wouldn't call it abuse, right? That's inherently more sexual than taking a child to a drag queen show or some kind of pride thing, right? And that's what we're dealing with. So that was the point that Freems was trying to make. Shu said, yeah, I agree, that's bad. You know, basically, you know, people shouldn't take their kids to Hooters, but what is your point? And then Demon Mama jumped in, and that's what ignited the discourse, as far as I can tell. That's why it's blown up, right? And, you know, Vaush actually made an appearance in the thread too, this time actually on the side of Demon Mama. The thing about this is, though, the thing that doesn't sit quite right with me, and let me turn down the music because I get that it's probably really, really loud. The thing that does not sit right with me is that Demon Mama and Vaush are battling Shu like some kind of knights battling a dragon. This is kind of performative, all right? So I'm not going to go super hard. We're not going to yell at Demon Mama and or Vaush. I would be remiss if I didn't point out that they have a lot of culpability. I'm glad they're both on the right side of things this time, but maybe learn something about platforming people that you just want so bad, that they're reformed. Shu's totally different now. Shu understands. Shu's better. Shu's not better. And we all told you Shu was not better, and you said, trust us, she's okay, she's safe. She's not safe. She's not safe for your community. She's not safe for, you know, queer discourse, like, right? When you open those pathways on the network of nodes that is, you know, social media, you're allowing stuff to come through, right? That stuff hurts queer people. And I would hope that Demon Mama and Vaush would learn a little bit from that. Okay, so, but yeah, this is the kind of discourse that's going to cause us to go to Twitter. We're going to have to, I hope you don't mind. Chat, are you okay with that? We're going to go to Twitter for this. It's the twit course, because that's where the discourse lives right now. Actually, though, here we go. So this is the post that I'm talking about here, right? Like, this is actually surprisingly common, right? In fact, I think I've heard Hooters refer to itself as a family restaurant. Right, because they're not like, you know, they're not performing sex acts in a Hooters, right? They're just, you know, they're dressed in a certain way, right? And, you know, they're also, you know, they have a certain look, right? That's what Hooters is. So it's not inherently sexual, I guess, even though some men and maybe women, yeah, definitely women, some people go to a Hooters and they receive some kind of gratification in that regard, right? There's people that go to Hooters because they're horny, right? Can we establish that? That's a fact, okay? So even though there's horny people at Hooters, right? Because that's what they're there for. This family does not mind bringing their kids there, because they are kids, and you know the fact that they're in proximity. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm like overstating this, right? But that is the logic by which cis people say, you know, this is okay. This is not bad. This is not leading the children down any sort of path. I mean, obviously there's religious families that would have a religious, you know, objection to this. But in general, this is considered innocent. Nobody would accuse the parents of, you know, doing something wrong to their kids by bringing them here, like seriously, right? But when we have drag shows that are not inherently sexual. Yes, somebody could go to a drag show and enjoy it on that level, right? They're probably maybe even, I mean, I don't even know. I don't go to drag shows, so I wouldn't know. But like, I mean, yeah, you're right. Conceivably that could happen, but we don't, and yet because it's queer culture, it is imbued with an inherent sexuality that isn't there, that just plain isn't there. And that is the problem with this discourse. That is why this discourse is so tortured. And that is why queer people hate it every year when this rolls around again. They should change the name to groomters. Okay, there we go. I can say that word for sure. But yeah, this is the tweet. Freem's pretty based here. It's a little, you know, it's a shit. There's a layer of irony, but it's not too tough to get to, right? And Shu says, yeah, I agree. That's also pretty weird. Your turn. Okay, so wait, what she's saying is that like now you defend bringing kids to a drag show. And who shows up to, see, I guess Freems didn't want to talk to Shu, right? I mean, I don't know. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, okay. So Freems does talk to Shu. So there's a Freems and Shu thread too. Okay. Chat, I know how to read Twitter. Yay. But we're on the Demon Mama timeline. This is the timeline where Shu talked to Demon Mama. So Demon Mama says Hooters has over 400 locations operating daily, and yet you never post about them. Always find time every Pride to spray vague, contextless, sometimes outright propaganda images demonizing drag, usually following up on calling actual queer people bad things without evidence, right? And I mean, yeah, Demon Mama, this is true, but you know this. But you know this, and you've known this, right? And the only reason that you pretend that something's different is because it's financially beneficial. And that's why people can't trust you. And that's why people can't trust Vaush, right? You're playing the same fucking game. All right? And when you're playing this game, you're playing with the queer community's safety, right? I'm not comparing you to Shu. Your takes are on point. I agree with you. You're doing the right thing. But please, for fuck's sake, stop platforming people like this. Stop giving them inroads into the left. People think that Shu is on the left because of y'all. All right? You didn't need to do that. But you found out that it was financially beneficial to have a relationship with. This is what happens when you make friends like this. I'm sorry. I just, for once, want you all to pay attention and take some kind of responsibility, take some kind of accountability for this, right? No, everything that Shu does is not your fault, right? She would still be horrible. She would still do damage to the queer community, even without you. This is true, but she's able to do more, and she's able to reach, you know, more left spaces because of you. Demon Mama, I hear people talk about this issue on the left, and they're not all on our side. That's f***ed up. That's f***ed up. This has real consequences. This has real stakes, and you all have to look beyond your financial statements because you have a responsibility. Okay? Anyway, enough woke scolding. The problem with woke scolds. Sorry, Demon Mama sometimes takes me over. Chat, there's literally nothing I can do about it. Okay, so Shu says, I'll probably talk about it more. I'd probably talk about it more if it was a mainstream topic constantly on my timeline in the news. When Hooters starts pretending it's super progressive. Okay, so because Pride pretends it's super progressive. Wait, what? What? Shu, this doesn't make any sense. Are you sure you're Shu on head and not Shu for head? Like, as in, like, there's no head, just a shoe? I don't know, chat. That could be a thumbnail. That could definitely be a thumbnail, right? So what we got here is, okay, so Demon Mama replies, okay, I get that it happens all the time, but you don't care because that type of quote-unquote child abuse isn't trending. So yeah, that's kind of what she's saying. It's not a mainstream topic. It's not in the discourse. Please, we're content creators. You understand this. We talk about the things that come across our timeline. Nobody's talking about Hooters, and so I'm not talking about it. So Demon Mama says, I get it. I get that it happens all the time, but you don't care because that type of quote unquote child abuse isn't trending. No one is shoving anything in your face, which is why you have to dredge up random shit. Yeah, she's absolutely scraping for content, or not really scraping, just like she knows this is a fertile field. She knows that she's gotten, you know, she's gotten clicks here before, and she's just gonna go for it because that's all that. And the thing is, Demon Mama, like, while I will admit that you are nowhere near as bad as Shu, you are kind of playing the same game as Shu, right? By platforming people like Shu, right? I don't have a problem with your take here. The concept of talking about current events shouldn't be foreign to a political streamer. Yeah, that's exactly where she goes. This is such a weird hill to pass away on, so she doesn't want to get banned. I don't know. Would you get banned for saying weird hill to die on? I don't think so. Good luck with this. Demon Mama says, you're spreading propaganda and misleading your audience of kids on YouTube. This is not current events. Love how vague and euphemistic you have to be. Let's be blunt. Every pride, you go out of your way to demonize, usually drag, usually with blatant misinfo. And I can't do the voice. I don't know. I can't force the voice chat. It has to be, it's Demon Mama. It's like she chooses the time that she comes. You don't have to, but you do. It actually kind of hurts. I don't know how she manages. Anyway, because, okay, so here comes Shu, and Shu is posting more like receipts, I guess. Okay, and this is the key one, right? It's not gonna lick itself. Okay. And then we have a very low res picture of a drag queen. And a drag queen doing the splits, right? It's like, the funny thing about this is that there seems to be like a supposition made that like we never take kids to events where anybody does the splits. If I'm not mistaken, hey Phoenix, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like cheerleaders do the splits, don't they? Chat, am I wrong? Do cheerleaders do the splits all the fucking time? Anybody go to high school in America? Anybody know what I'm talking about, right? They do in America. Okay, so they do. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about kink at Pride. This is a discourse that happens every year. I call it the cis-course, okay? Because it is cis people talking about queer issues. And it's very, very, very cursed. Extremely cursed, right? Yeah, gymnastics, hell yeah. Gymnastics, cheerleading. There are so many events that they bring kids just like these two. And the only difference is that this is in an LGBT context. And you're gonna notice that. That is what's at the bottom of this, right? Is a lack of acceptance of LGBT people. Now, wait a minute, no comment check. Are you sure about that? I thought gay people, at least, maybe not trans people, but like gay and lesbian people, I thought they were pretty accepted. Well, you'd think so, right? We go through the motions of queer acceptance, at least in terms of, you know, the gay and lesbian part of LGBT, right? But I think that the acceptance is skin deep, right? I don't think it's really there. And this is where you see it come out, right? I mean, I can kind of relate to this myself. Like, right, I've got a sister that is very supportive of me as a trans person, very supportive of my transition, you know, has just been nothing but awesome about that. And yet, like, I don't know if she's referring to me as her kid's aunt or her kid's uncle, or even if she's referring to me at all, like, right? Like, I don't really, you know, like, right? She's not comfortable with me being part of, like, you know, her family life, right? And, you know, that's tough. That's really tough. And that's sort of where you see it, right? Is that, like, you know, well, we can't explain this to the kids, right? Now, I don't know for sure if that's true. I have a very strained relationship because of COVID, and I probably need to try to talk to, reach out and talk to my family and see how they're doing and stuff. And maybe I'm completely wrong, but that's one of the reasons I stopped talking to my sister, is because it just hurt too much, because we don't know how much we're really accepted. But yeah, so Shu says, because y'all can't help but act like dodo birds, so extinct species. That's a really Shu. Okay, see, there's another sign. They don't take the prospect of trans people being, being targeted, being hurt, being targeted for, really bad things. They don't take that seriously at all, because you wouldn't fucking use an endangered species. Sometimes we feel like a fucking endangered species, okay? Okay, not an endangered species, they're extinct. I'm sorry, but you know what I'm saying? That's like, okay, the line of logic is there, even if it was like a little bit strained, okay? Like, I don't know. I mean, that's not the worst thing that she said. I don't want to focus on the dodo bird thing here too much. Defending the most bizarre shit, like, see, it's not the most bizarre shit, it is just a fucking drag show. And the fact that you think it's the most bizarre shit, Shu, that's some bizarre shit right there. That is some... Oh, the O is the... Oh my god. Wait, the O on head is the Z... Oh my god, I didn't even know how to spell her name right. I thought the Shu... Like, the Shu... I thought the Shu... The O in Shu was the one that was turned into a 0. Literally, what misinfo are you even talking about with this? The misinfo that this is inherently sexual, you bitch. That's the misinfo we're talking about, okay? That somebody doing the splits doesn't happen in any context other than sexual. That's fucking bullshit. So here comes Demon Mama back with this. Meow. Shu's website literally, oh yeah, that's right. Shu's website, that was a huge, yeah, and they keep on giving her a pass because it's like financially beneficial. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I hope, like, at least after this, they, like, learn something, right? So why did you leave out this screenshot this time? Okay, so I guess Shu must have posted that before, maybe last year. Why did you leave out this screenshot this time? The one revealing the host of this event has a whopping 150 followers. Okay. But wait, I don't even see it. Like, it's called Drag the Kids to Pride. I don't really see the wait, would there be a problem even if this did have like more followers? She was awful. How she managed to go from one of the biggest anti-SJW reactionary YouTubers to the beloved leftist that she is today is beyond me. Yo, it's seriously because there's a perverse incentive for people like Vaush and Demon Mama to find a way to accept her, right? She says something ridiculous, which is like, yo, I'm not taking down my videos. I'm not gonna like really, apologize. I'm not really gonna do shit, but I want to be on the left now. I think I'm on the left. Yeah, left is cool, right? And you'd think that that'd be obvious. Well, okay, you're lying. Thanks. Bye, right? You would think that would be obvious. But Demon Mama and Vaush, like, look at the money. And they can't say no. And that's the thing. They're gonna slay the dragon. This is performative, okay? Until they fucking actually cut her shit off, right? And stop feeding her. This is just performative. Because they have raised a dragon. They have cultivated and nurtured a dragon. And they slay it weekly, but they never slay it so hard that they can't fight the dragon again next week. And it's kind of sick. And so, like, listen, I would love to say that you two are strong trans allies, but the way it looks like right now, you're part of the cis-course. You're part of this thing that happens to queer people every fucking year when cis people like Shu come and take the discourse from us and do horrible things to it that it was never meant to experience. Vaush wants to hear her to be a manic pixie dream leftist. Yeah, like, so much for de-radicalization. These people talk about de-radicalization. They don't de-radicalize shit. And they don't need to, right? This is content. Like, as much as I want, like, yes, they have the right takes. Yes, I'm glad they're there to push back. Yes, I'm glad they're not kissing Shu's ass and coddling her in this particular case. But It's just a little, it's too little too late is what it is, really. But yeah, trans rights, chat, trans rights. Okay, let's scroll down here. Shu says, I did include that screenshot in the tweet I made yesterday, but how is this even a defense? Lamau, why can't you just agree it's weird and inappropriate? Shu, you are weird and inappropriate, okay? Okay, so it goes on. It goes on. You thought you were done with the... No, not yet. Okay. You're the one pivoting here, says Demon Mama. I was asking what is stopping you from being honest, from spending time certain word hunting in the Southern Baptist Church or the Catholic Church, who have a whole lot more victims and more followers than some weirdo's rural drag show with gross neon light. Okay, I mean, you don't have to wait. Wow, Demon Mama, just I don't know. I think she's making fun of like the fact that that she was kind of portraying the light as being like, ooh, it's like red light or something. I don't know. I don't know. Because only one of these things is passed off as good and cool and progressive and defended by people I otherwise agree with. No, but Shu, come on. Look, they don't defend the child abuse that goes on in their churches, okay? They do not defend that, but they do defend the church itself. And where's the child abuse going on? Who's, you know, what is this coming from? This is coming from the church. So I ask you, what is the fucking difference? Oh, you thought you saw Ice Cream Party when you saw the sign? You're happy to say that you've never watched Shu. I don't think I've ever watched an entire video of Shu's. Yeah, I don't know. No comment. Ha 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 ha. Okay, so, no one even knew this event existed until you falsely conflated it with pride in general. Your messaging is dishonest and it bothers people rightfully. If you thought this 150-person event was bad, contact the venue, go visit the event and do journalism or something. But no, Shu, go visit the event and do journalism or something. You can't say this about, you could say this about literally any topic we cover. Again, I don't know. Yeah. Oh my God. Listen, if it's a topic that you cover that doesn't affect marginalized people who are in danger, who are targeted, then there's a difference. There's a substantial difference there. And I think you should be able to see that, right? How much longer are you going to call, are you going to not call things out in fear of giving the other side ammo? You even defended, okay, I don't know what that is, chat. I don't know if I should okay, press, is this a person? Anybody know? I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a word I should be saying. But whatever that word is, for fuck's sake, right? Demon Mama says, I'm saying literally anything other than what you do would be good. Wait, I'm saying, okay, so anything other than what you do would be good. You screen capping some 150 follower event, implying there is bad stuff going on there because of the gross neon sign, and then conflating it. I don't think the sign was that gross, chat. It's just a neon sign, whatever. And then conflating it with the rest of Pride is grossly irresponsible. I mean, it's not that I'm not standing the sign. I just don't think it was that bad. Okay, irresponsible. Sorry, Mom, but I'm 30 years old and I can talk about whatever I want on my own platform, and it doesn't matter who I fucking hurt because I don't fucking care. Here comes Vaush. Vaush says, Shu, we're all public figures here. We're all friends here. Even if you disagree with Demon Mama on this particular issue, accusing people of using their platform irresponsibly is totally valid. You do it all the time, even if you don't use that exact language. Okay, so is it going to become a Vaush Shu? Yeah, it looks like it's becoming a Vaush Shu dialogue. Demon Mama also thought it was irresponsible of me to go after... See, I don't know who this is. I really don't care what she thinks, to be honest. Vaush, I just don't like the, well, it's my platform and I can do what I want attitude. It's just a way to escape accountability. Oh my God, Vaush, tell me, motherfucker, tell me about escaping accountability. You're free to take whatever position you like, but if others feel you're doing harm, oh my God, Vaush, Garfield. If others feel you're doing harm, I think they have the right to accuse you of irresponsibility. I think so, Vaush. I think that's based. That's absolutely based. Okay. And she says, I just feel like I'm going insane. And then it's a picture of Alex Jones and says shoe getting cooked. Oh, it's a different word, maybe. So that's because Demon Mama and Shu were arguing, and Vaush is both of their friend, and so whoever side Vaush comes in on, he's cooking the other person. Okay, so rare Vaush win. Yeah, who is that? Chat. Prostasia. Vaush is both Garfield and Spider-Man. Well, true. It shows the phrase in use for ice cream advertisement. It is not that big. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Oh, I got so distracted. Yeah, that sign is for ice cream. It's an ice cream event. It's like, it's a bad joke, but it's not inherently sexual. Actually, this, like, think about it. This ice cream isn't gonna lick itself. Yeah, okay. I see. I think I see what Demon Mama was saying. Is it's weird that it's in a neon light, but then again, I mean that is kind of like, I mean, the atmosphere of a drag event is like that, right? And once again, neon light. Guess what? Not inherently sexual. I don't know how many times I have to say this. I don't know who needs to hear this, right? But it's not inherently sexual. Not even. It's not even a bad joke. It's a good sign. Yeah. Shu accused Demon Mama of defending them in her tweet. But who is that? I don't know who the person is. Does anybody know? It feels like an intervention, yeah? If it's even possible to keep innuendos away from kids. It's a building and forum that houses map. Oh shit! Wait, that's what prostasia is? That's really strange. Okay. So wait, Demon Mama was defending a building that houses maps? I don't get it. It's like the Blair White method of straight up lying about LGBTQIA person. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, this is all part of it, chat. And I've been getting this in the comments. Listen, if you can, okay, I know that people do not usually comment on shorts. If you even watch my shorts, right? Which, you know, not everybody's a shorts person. Some people are TikTok people, right? But if you can get on there and you could leave some nice comments on the videos that just went up, they are about trans people. They're about, you know, defending trans kids, right? And they are just bait for the most vile fucking transphobia out there. I would love it if there was some good comments by some good people, you know, to like, I've deleted most of the absolute, like, you know, toxic garbage that got put on there. But like, as always, your comments, your likes, your, you know, all those little buttons that you can ding, all those little bells you can press, those are like my lifeblood. To discredit her. I don't know if she was or not. Yeah, I don't really have much context for that, right? But Shu seems to think that it's an organization. Okay, it's not a person. I'm so wrong. It says it's an org against CSA. And they have a building that has a maps office. Okay, yeah. I mean, like, I can't really, it does sound like, okay, so the TLDR, like before I actually figure out what the fuck this is all about, right? The TLDR is Shu's trying to change the subject. That's what I got out of that. Wait, is an org that Shu made a VOD denouncing? What about Shu? Wasn't Shu part of an organization that was like had some fash element to it? Do you know what I'm talking about, chat? It wasn't that long ago, right? It's complicated. Yeah, we'll have to look into that later, if at all. But again, it seems like Shu's trying to change the subject, right? That's the takeaway I got. it's a non sequitur. Yeah, it's a whataboutism. Definitely a whataboutism, right? Yeah, what the problem is with all this discourse is that they are sexualizing queer culture. And the things that occur down the line from that are really ugly and really bad and really scary to me personally, okay? And to a lot of you out there. We're unfortunately doing it. Yeah, Shu resurrected it, and I mean, at least Demon Mama and Vaush this time are calling her out on it, but honestly, like, they're somewhat responsible for her having a voice on the left. She never should have had a voice on the left. She's not de-radicalized. She's fucked up and she's doing harm. And when you platform her, you enable that harm. So Demon Mama and Vaush, again, you know, without harping on it too much, you got some responsibility here. And I would love to see you take accountability for what you did in bringing her into the community, right? This is like everybody, and I get this reaction from a lot of streamers. So we were like, you know, hey, like, don't go on with BPF, you know, like, come on, right? And they're like, but you don't understand. Everybody's going on with BPF, and I don't like BPF. I'm going to argue against BPF, but I got to have a working relationship with BPF. It's terrible. It's really fucking terrible. And when you say that shit, you're fucking cringe. And there's way too much of Twitch politics where that's just normalized. Where that kind of shit is like, yeah, of course I'm going to talk to BPF, get a chance to talk to BPF. That's a great show. People are going to be so excited, and I get to smack down the Nazi and act like a big hero while I'm giving him access to my fucking platform. It's ridiculous. She was just reckless in her initial vid. Yokio, you got to tell me more about this. Oh, the vid about prostasia. Oh, okay. Demon Mama investigated Shu's vid. Okay, I mean, I guess we could look at that. So this is Demon Mama and Shu like drama. The reason that the organization sounds supportive is that way because that's how they attract patients. Shu did some necromancy shit, reviving a dead topic. I know, and they do it every fucking year, right? And that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's when the discourse, the queer discourse becomes the cis-course. It feels like, you know, the cis people just take over. Sorry, I shouldn't just say, it was so perfect. It was so perfect. And now I realize that it's like, it's not just the cis-course, right? It's a straight course, right? I don't know. It's not quite as catchy, right? But like, yeah, the straight people take the discourse away. And they do bad things to it, and it's never the same when we get it back. It's like, listen, if you had a favorite stuffed animal, okay, and let's say you also have a cousin, and that cousin has a snotty little nose. You got the snotty little nose cousin, right? The cousin comes over to your house to stay, cannot sleep at night, and like, what's wrong, cousin? Oh, I usually sleep with a stuffed animal, and I don't have my stuffed animal because mommy wouldn't let me take him. Well, it's okay. They can borrow yours, right? And you're like looking at that snotty nose cousin, and you're like, no, don't give my favorite stuffed animal to the snotty-nosed cousin, okay? Do not do that, okay? You're gonna get that stuffed animal back, just like we're gonna get the discourse back after Pride Month, but it's not gonna be the same. You're gonna know that cousin like wiped their nose on your favorite stuffed animal, and listen, you wipe your nose on the favorite stuffed animal, right? It's somebody else's snot. Straight people are getting their snot on our discourse, and I don't like it. I really don't like it. No, not the snotty-nosed cousin. Oh my God. So I think I was the snotty-nosed cousin a couple times even. My understanding of the situation, Shu has a video about the organization accusing it of providing a safe haven to Pedialyte aficionados, and Demon Mama looked into it and saw it was a treatment center. Oh God. Here we are stream sniping Vaush. This isn't dangerous at all. I'm sure chat. If White Nervosa, if you're out there, this is transformative content.
I'm a depressed trans girl and I dreamt about Vaush. Who doesn't? All trans people have a dream.
I just threw up a little bit.
About me eventually. I'm like a patron saint, you know?
I haven't had that dream yet. I haven't been visited.
I arrive in their mind in visions.
Just like Shrek.
and I tell them that they're being drama queens. Just about it. Anything. They always are, aren't
Look, I know when Vaush arrives in my dream because it smells strongly of onion, okay? It smells very strongly of onion when Vaush arrives.
they? Have you ever talked to a trans girl? Anyway, you know, we see this runabout pretty often. Shu, you know, we'll do it with this, like, well, she's frustrated, the lefties won't acknowledge there's something weird here, and then conservatives see that and they all cream their pants because Shu is an effective
Suddenly it smells like farts.
Political entryism to either side, depending on which direction. All
stars, yeah.
Chat, I see all of you with opinions right here. I know you're typing at me. I don't care about any of you. None of your opinions mean anything to me. You're worthless, okay? Listen, kink and pride? No, kink and chat. And the kink that we're exploring today is shutting the fuck up, okay? Shh. I'm talking. Thank you.
POV.
Anyway.
POV, you're part of the Vaush audience.
Now, I engaged with this a little bit last year. There was a photo of a little girl who was, like, patting the head of some...
So I'm guessing that he's going to apologize for this?
Guy who was in full leather
meow hey not so quiet
gear, you know, like a full pet play thing, and people were like, oh, this is kink and pride. It turns out I believe it was actually at the Folsom Street Fair, which is explicitly like a pro kink event. Like, it's actually like a kink event, which means that the kid shouldn't have been there, you know. That's like on the parents. In retrospect, given the fact that it wasn't like a pride thing, and the guy in the dog leather outfit had every right to be there because the event was specifically, like, catered to people wearing weirdo degen freak stuff like that. I feel like, if anything, in addition to the kid he should have not been there, I feel bad for the guy in the dog outfit. Because, like, imagine it from his perspective. He's got a big old stiffy. He's at his kink parade pride kink thing in his dog outfit.
What is
this? And then,
this?
like, he's just chilling there. And then a fucking kid walks up. Like, can you imagine how weird that would make you feel?
I mean, I feel like you're assuming Christ, a lot, you know? About...
Like, just like, oh my god. Imagine being at, like, some sick-ass, like, BDSM club or whatever. And you're, like, jamming. You're on Molly or whatever the cool kids do, you know. And then, like, someone bumps into you and it's a 12-year-old. Like, instantly, you bite on the cyanide capsule. Yeah, like, instantly. Yeah, and then someone takes a picture of it and you get used as, like, the lamppost for the corruption of children. And you were just sitting there, you know. Whatever.
Oh my god. Okay, well, see, I'm trying to get away from sexualizing LGBT stuff, right? And like there's like an inherent sexuality that's seen there. I think he misdescribed, like, I remember all I saw in the picture were pups and a kid, and I want to remind people that pups are not inherently sexual. They're, you know, they live their lives, and, like, part of your life is your sex life. But guess what? Not all of your life is your sex life. If I was to come up to you at work and ask you about your sex life, that would be inappropriate. If I were to go to your work and assume that you were in a, you know, a sexual mode, that would, unless you're a sex worker, that would most likely be wrong, right? I could be right. Some people get horny at work, right? But it's just so fucking weird how much he's projecting on the situation. I didn't see any of that in the situation. How did he make up a scenario with all these details? He filled in all the details, and he still filled it in a queer-phobic way. Yeah, not good. He literally fell into that hole last year, and he says that he doesn't want to do this, right? He says that he's done with this. He's fucking he's learned. He's probably gonna apologize, and that's great. And I'm glad you've come around. I'm glad if Demon Mama had anything to do with changing his mind about it, that's great. But again, like, you still need to take some accountability for bringing Shu into these left spaces. Like, she never fucking belonged here. And now that's clear. Now it's clear that she is herself pretty fucking queer-phobic. She is not safe for your community. I mean, to the degree that your community... Okay, that's a weird thing to say. Yeah, your community's not safe anyway. How much reactionary language Vaush uses ironically. Yeah, and, like, oh my god. This is the thing, is, like, when you're talking to somebody like Vaush, it's like he's saying... Like, you know, I'm de-radicalized. We're a place for de-radicalization. We take some rough people in and we don't gatekeep them. We don't woke scold them. We say it's okay, you can come on in and say the R word, but actually, seriously, like long term, maybe you should stop saying the R word. But if you want to say the R word for now, we're cool with it. You know, it's just like all this appeasement that he does, which is really what it is. And this guy wants to act like he is the strong part of the left. There's nothing strong about this, Vaush. This is fucking weak. What you do is you appease the right wing, and your appeasement of the right wing has fucking consequences. And I hope you see that now. I doubt you will. I doubt you'll take accountability for that. Like, I mean, congrats if you're going to apologize for the kink at Pride take from last year, but he likes the aesthetics of being the leftist. Yeah, I mean, it's branding. I gotta say it. That's really all it is. Yeah, they weren't having sex in public. We actually just don't know anything about that situation. You got a photo, and that is all you got, and you can't tell context. All the things that Vaush read into that situation were not present in that photo. That doesn't mean anything necessarily, but like it doesn't like you can't deduce anything from that, right?
Whatever the case may be, the ultimate position that I have on all of this is that I don't really care, because the issue is like there's an implication that always gets done through where like a photo gets taken where the vibes are off, and because conservatives have so effectively like run the discourse in the direction of you know, like LGBT people are groomers, pride events are for grooming, you know, all this is grooming. So any situation where the vibes are off, any condemnation of the vibes will be implicitly read as a endorsement of child grooming, you know? Like, because people will do this thing where it's like, oh, drag queens are around kids or whatever. And like, first of all, like, okay, whatever. But then the implication, like, even if there's a photo that's a little weird, right? Like maybe a drag queen, like, I don't know, like, is stuff like this a little weird?
Well,
you know, personally, I do think it's a
YouTube chat going wild with those gex. You know, you can all do that with the pew pew and the gex command. That's a command for everyone.
Weird to have like a drag event that's designed for families or kids, because this feels like drag queens are gay culture. They just are. And it seems weird to be like, all right, kids, now you're going to get the family friendly version of it. But it's like weird in the most inconsequential way imaginable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I said before, this is the splits. Can the splits be sexual? Sure. Are the splits inherently sexual? Not unless you think a cheerleading event is inherently sexual. And if you think a cheerleading event is inherently sexual, then we got problems, right? This is, yeah, ridiculous. Pride Month on Twitter. Yeah, that's exactly it. I was calling it the cis-course earlier because like I was saying like the cis people take over the discourse, but it's really, you know, more about like, you know, the non-LGBT people, like, you know, the non-queer people take over the queer discourse. That's the overarching thing. The non-kink people take over the kink discourse. Just everybody feels free to go and just like I said, it's like, you know, when your snotty little cousin sleeps with your stuffed animal and wipes their nose on it, you're going to get the stuffed animal back, just like we're going to get the discourse back, but it's not going to be the same.
I mean,
they're going to do bad.
I don't care. You know,
they're doing bad things to the discourse right now.
I mean, but the weirdness here, like a lot of people will interpret any existent weirdness as like evidence of grooming, and that's the issue. Like all the discourse is so amped the fuck up that it's like, oh yeah, I don't know, I think like the whole like drag family thing is a little weird. Ah, yeah, it's weird because they're grooming all the children. No, they're fucking not. Maybe like if there's some exceptional shit going on, I mean, maybe if you could prove it or find evidence, but like on the day-to-day,
it's like the weakest possible out.
Like, you know, people are looking for anything. You can go to a boardwalk, go to Venice Beach with a camera, you can find like 12 pictures.
Look, I know I've covered Vaush a lot in the past year, and I know I've been really fucking harsh on him, okay? And it's not really all about him. It's about what he represents. But if there's one thing that I could like if there's one thing that I could stop, it's him perpetuating this mythology that he is somehow strong. Vaush, you're not. You're a... Any word I say is gonna be yikes, isn't it? Vaush, you're being a bitch for the right wing. That is your whole fucking thing. You pretend to be strong? This is the strongest take I've seen you take on this issue. You couldn't even see your way to be on our side last year, right? There's nothing strong about appeasing the right wing. And like you could tell, like he's got the fucking queerphobic brainworms too. I gotta call it. Yeah, Vaush, I know you're queer, but you got the queerphobic brainworms. So stop hating yourself and stop hating us. Or you know, just fix your shit. Like I don't know, take a break and do some work. Do some work on yourself, because like seriously, your audience, like of, you know, and there are like queer people in Vaush's audience. There's a decent amount of queer people in Vaush's audience. They don't need to hear this.
Pictures to take of some shit that looks weird, you know? Like, why won't henna tattoo artists condemn the behavior at this
they got poo on the discourse, I know, right, JT?
You know, this bungalow, this little like kiosk or whatever, you know? What's going on at Venice Beach? And it's like some like homeless dude like hovering next to a kid, and it looks kind of weird. And if it was a video, you would see like,
that's true too. Yeah, they will always take something that decontextualizes the situation, that takes part of the information that you need to actually know what was going on, and you don't have that. And it leaves it to the mind of the viewer. And if the viewer is imbued with this kind of queerphobic brainworms that Vaush is exemplifying here, that's how it's going to be seen, through a queerphobic lens.
Like the kid just walks away and nothing happens. But that's the thing about photos, right? You know, photos can tell a story, but they don't always tell the right one. And they leave a lot of room for interpretation. So, you know, conservatives run away with that shit. I want to relay a story. Anyone who's been to Venice Beach knows what I'm talking about, right? If you've even been in public, in a big public setting, like how often have you seen something that you're like, oh, that might have looked weird if I only saw it for 1 second, but didn't see the next following seconds where everything looked normal? This happens all the time. This is the nature of existing in public. Yeah. So anyway, I want to tell a story, okay? So here's the thing. I do think sometimes some of the stuff that happens at Pride events is like a little bit, I don't know, a little weird. The main issue that I have with it is like, there's a lot of stuff. So Pride events are absolutely queer culture. How could they not be? It's a Pride event, right? So, you know, Pride festival, Pride get-togethers, Pride community events. Obviously it's queer culture. If it's not that, then what is it, right? So the thing is, historically, Pride and queer culture in general have been defined by a couple of things. Anti-establishment values and sexuality. No getting around that. It's a Pride festival. And
wait,
you know, it wasn't that long ago that Pride...
I would posit that anti-establishment values in and of themselves, that's a meaningless phrase, right? The right wing talks about its anti-establishment values.
Festivals were all held essentially in deliberate antagonistic defiance of the cities in which they were contained. And the thing is, there's kind of an awkward bridging between highly sexual adult counterculture and family-friendly culture. That is a very difficult thing to bridge. You guys understand? You know, a community events, cultures, sort of languages, attitudes, aesthetics that are developed with the idea that like it's a bunch of like,
aesthetics,
you know, gays in the 1980s who are like fighting for their rights. That's not always the kind of shit that it would be like,
oh
yeah, here, bring your kids to.
I mean, like, look, I know you're a queer dude, but like this, I feel like I'm getting this explained to me by like a straight person. This is such a like.
Now, a lot of
the gay dudes in the 80s that were fighting for their rights and liberation. Okay.
This bridging has been done. I've been to Pride events.
Okay.
I've been to, I think, 4 years of my life.
Those brainworms, right?
Actual effort to attend Pride events. And look, most of these Pride events are family friendly in like a hegemonically acceptable way, right? Like, seriously. It's just, there's a bunch of booths and there's some people.
I mean, can you imagine if there was another, like, if there was another subgroup, like, you know, let's just say it was a religion. Let's say Protestants. Like, I grew up in a Protestant, you know, family. Let's say that somebody like decided like, yo, I don't know about those Protestant, you know, those religious services. Are they doing bad things to kids there? We better send somebody in to check it out. We be like, oh, what is this? And they like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, and like, I mean, like, if you know anything about church, then yeah, you know, there's some bad stuff like happening there, right? But if somebody, so what I'm saying, I guess, is that would have more rationale than what they're doing here. What they are doing is just like fishing, looking for anything that looks untoward at LGBT events. and then just painting it and decontextualizing it and painting it in the worst light imaginable. If you did this to any group, you would be stoking violence against them. And that is what this shit is. That is why we can't fuck around with it. That's why we can't fuck around with platforming people like Shu anymore. Vaush, you subjected us to this, right? It's bad enough that she exists. I get that she's not going anywhere, right? But you let her into the left, just like you let Eris into the left and all these other sussy bakas. Vaush, you are a bit sus. You're a bit of a sussy baka yourself, Vaush. That's what I'm saying. Stop letting the bakas in.
The most you're going to see is
why is he always gotta let the bakas in?
Some guy who's shirtless and he's in like shorts, and it's like, okay. I mean, you can go to the beach and see that. Like, okay. Right, like, if that's the limit, I mean, if that's the limit right there, you know, whatever, and that's fine. The drag stuff weirds me out a little bit. Drag is not inherently sexual, but it often is, and even in instances where it's not sexual, there's nothing sexual inherently about doing the splits, by the way. If you think that's the case, you're a degenerate, and there's something wrong with you. Doing splits is just a dance move, you know, like, but there's still like kind of a weird cultural implication, a codifier that people will read into, especially still images, you know? So you see stuff like this and some people get a weird vibe, because if you're not at all familiar with Pride events or how they take place or whatever, you can see something like this and think like, you know, oh, this is like some sexual dance that a guy dressed as a girl is doing to groom this young girl. Oh, this is a sexual innuendo that they're exposing children to in order to corrupt them into being homosexual or blah blah. But it's like, no, it's not. This is an ice cream parlor. They just didn't cover up the ice cream parlor thing. And by the way, It's Not Gonna Lick Itself is innuendo on the level, as in terms of how salacious an innuendo, like, okay, sure. This is like below average SpongeBob episode and well below Shrek, okay? Like, yeah, okay, all right, sure, you know. But like the conservative sees this and they're like, so this is the Pizzagate grooming cabal. And they see something like this and they're like, you know, it's some grooming. And no, it's not. It's just somebody in a outfit doing a little dance, you know? I think it's a little weird. Well, I think there are cultural implications that haven't been ironed out yet, because again, when Pride has spent such a long time being thought of as like, okay, so it's not ice cream innuendo, it's just like regular innuendo. I think we've bumped up from slightly below SpongeBob to slightly above SpongeBob, maybe. It doesn't really matter. The point that I'm getting at here is that the nature of taking photos of events like this and like, please look it up yourself. Well, they link the bar. You can hold events at bars, you know. The point that I'm getting at, and don't distract me with your interjections here, is that the way these photos get taken, the implications...
He's all about the cocoa, isn't he?
...implications that we all hold, like culturally, about the nature of Pride, along with years and years and years of conservative propagandistic framing. It's just regular sexual innuendo. Shu, with respect...
Shu is in the chat. So she's not banned. It's just regular sexual innuendo. Wait, so like, okay, how many shows that children watch, right? Like, think of The Simpsons. How many shows have sexual innuendo? And you know what the idea is there? Is that if they're kids, they won't get the innuendo. Right? It's written so that the parents can be like, ha 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 ha, chuckle, 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 and the kids are gonna be like, what? You know, the kids won't see the joke, right? Or SpongeBob. Oh, SpongeBob? Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
The problem here is that you can make an argument about harm being done if there's like an extrapolated this is a grooming thing, but on its own, a neon sign saying it's not gonna lick itself, I cannot buy the argument that this is harmful to children. On its own. I can't. The issue is that when conservatives see stuff like this, you know, what they're imagining in their head is that this is some kind of like constructed like grooming temple. And you know, like you don't see the grooming here is an innate component of these individual elements that have been assembled, which are innocuous in their own. I'm not saying that's a bad thing in general, I'm just correcting the info. Okay, well,
like, I don't understand. Like, I'm looking at this scene. I do not understand what they think could be going on there. that is sus. I don't get it. I do not get it.
All right, Shu. Whatever the case may be, I want to relate this to something. Let's do a story here, okay? You know, and if you can avoid distracting me, and I'm saying this to Pigeon as
so I mean the chat's not happy with Shu, but she's still in the chat and she's gonna stay in. It doesn't look like they're burning the bridge. It doesn't look like they're cutting ties. So in other words, she lives to fight another day. She lives to have another bad take, and you're like injecting this shit into your community. Well,
because I hear Pigeon screaming in the background, but now I don't have the best memory, so I might be.
And all you're giving them to fight back with is like these milquetoast takes. You know, that's why you're weak, Vaush. That's why you can't lead the left. I'm about to say I probably shouldn't call him a pussy, should I? I shouldn't call him. I won't call him a pussy, right? I don't want to give into the dominance paradigm, all right? But if I was to, like, you know, if I was Vaush talking to Vaush, that's what I would say in Vaush language.
Constructing entire
that's
pieces
what the phrase
of the story,
would be.
You know, from my imagination. But I remember a couple years ago there was some discourse that took place when a photo was uploaded.
Yeah, that Shu tweet made me mad too.
Facebook. And it was a photo.
And the fact that they do this every fucking year, that's what really pisses me off. It's like for a whole month, we lose the discourse. And when we get it back, it's not the same. It's dirty.
Of a black family.
A little Dutch boy haircut.
That had a stripper over. And the stripper was brought to the household to celebrate the birthday of the younger son of the family, who was like 12. Does anyone remember this?
Oh yeah,
you're
right, JT. He's got all the power here, but the problem is that they're friends. Legit. This guy legit makes friends with right-wingers, and he sees no problem with that, right? Like, to most audiences, that should compromise your stance, right? That should compromise, like, it's like, they should see the conflict of interest there, right? You're telling us that this shit is fucked up. You're telling us that we should stand up for queer people, and you're bringing in somebody that you say is de-radicalized when they're obviously not de-radicalized.
Make this up. I don't remember the details, but basically there was some discourse about how I do. Okay, some of you do. Okay, I didn't make this up entirely. Yeah. So there was some discourse about this, you know. And I don't want to draw a full comparison here, because actually hiring a stripper to like twerk in front of a 12-year-old boy is infinitely more fucked up than anything I've ever heard of happening at Pride. I'm sure some bad shit's happened at Pride, but like far more, like several tiers above. Far, far, far worse. But there was a similar reaction, and shoot, this is what I mean here, okay? So naturally, this drew the attention of racists, right?
And you know, we talk about Dylan Burns, and we talk about the meta of kayfabe. We talk about the fakeness that's inherent in the Twitch political scene. This is another example of it, right? They're like wrestlers. They'll beat each other up in public, and then they'll go have drinks in private, right? They're not. It's fake. It's fake.
Right? Because the picture, like
this is virtue signaling, right? This is just you playing. You're just sparring with each other. You're just wrestling with each other, and it's a.
The house was clearly in a poor area. Like the family was clearly poor. You know, the family was black, and it got caught up in this whole black people are ratchet, black camp, where it's like by saying that there's something wrong, even if. And by the way, my only criticism here is that I just think it's a little off. That's it. I don't believe in any of the grooming bullshit here. I just think it's a little weird. I don't know. It's just.
I'm just gonna let him in a little bit, chat. Is that okay? I'm just gonna let him in a little bit.
Seems a little bit weird. I don't like modeling based anything with kids. You know, dancing for kids, having kids be dance. I don't
think anybody is asking you that, Vaush.
None of that. I just don't like any of that. You know, I don't know. I feel like it's the wrong values to prioritize. Let people grow up, and then they can fixate on what makes them and other people attractive, you know? And being, you know, drag is...
Okay, that is a reactionary viewpoint that you're hearing. Straight up. That's a reactionary fucking viewpoint. Like, right? Like, is Keffels in chat? Keffels is in chat. So they're saying Keffels'
everyone's
name.
In chat.
Yep, Keffels is in chat. What's Keffels saying?
Oh god, every single person, every discourser, every discursive element is in chat. God almighty. Okay.
Vaush, that's not quite true.
Okay, fine. No, sure. I'll engage. Okay, like, Here's the issue, all right? Here, the problem.
What was Keffel saying? Okay, I was talking about my partner and something I didn't really think of, but because drag is neither a sexuality or a gender identity, it's tying theoretically with queer identity, and that could be harmful. Wait, does anybody get what Keffels is saying? I was talking to my partner and something I didn't really think of, but because drag is neither a sexuality or a gender, it is tying theoretically
with pride is that
reactionary leftist reactionary leftists is what I call them. They're really just serving neoliberalism, but there's much more lip service to leftism, from Vaush to Hinkle to infrared. Yeah, and it's not just that. There's an inherent like right-wing nature. Let me point it out to you, okay? What is debate culture about? Dominance. Theatrically, I'm sorry, I misread it. Theatrically, yeah. So it's about dominance, okay? So if you center dominance in your discourse, do you really have a leftist discourse? Or are you trying to shoehorn leftist discourse into a right-wing format, right? Now, like, I'm not saying that this is the only way that this can be, that I don't think that this is the only way that debate can go on. I think that I'm not against panels. I'm not against doing content with people. Don't like take me too extreme, right? And it's not as much about the format as it is about the people in the format and the aesthetic that they adopt. But because of the blood sports nature of this, and like just a quick refresher, how does debate work? If you're a debate streamer, you've got to bring home the bacon to your community. What is the bacon? The bacon is a W. You want to bring all the W's home, never the L. Oh, sorry, L? L, yeah, never the L, never the L, never the L, always the W, right? Because you got momentum, you got a W, momentum, you got another W, momentum, momentum, momentum. That is how debate works, and your chat gets all excited and they get hype and they get invested in your ego, you get invested in your ego. That is how debate streaming works, right? That is the current meta. That's what Vaush does, that's what Demon Mama does, that's what all these people do, right? And even probably some streamers that don't consider themselves debate streamers do this too, right? This is just dominance paradigm, right? But it's not a left-wing thing. It's a right-wing thing. That whole, you know, might makes right philosophy is very right-wing. And that is at the center of their aesthetic. So they're almost set up to fail as leftist. Good night, Shaky Project. Thanks for being here. I like debates when they're cordial and respectful. I'm speaking as someone that I respect and hopefully is relatively knowledgeable and intelligent. Yeah, right. When you've got a question about what you're asking about. So in other words, am I going to go on and debate CTV on might segregation have been a good thing, right? No, I'm not, because I don't have a question about that. CTV might have a question about that. I am certain about that. I don't have a question. My audience doesn't have a question. There's no reason to open that can of worms up. If I have a question about it, if it's like, you know, well, we both believe in a less hierarchical world, but we have a difference of opinion about how to get there, that's a good discussion, even, let's say, debate to have. Yeah, absolutely, Al.
First of all, gay people are bad. But second of all, another important point. The second important point is that there is a difficult bridge to cross when it comes from how do we take subvert.
Wait, did somebody explain the Keffels take to me? I feel like somebody said something about the Keffels take. Hey, Brixton. Yeah, we're talking about kink. It's that time of year, right? It's that time of year. Keffels tries hard to provide cover for Vaush, and I'm gonna try hard not to notice. Is that okay? So nobody had. Yeah, I couldn't tell exactly what Keffels was getting at in that. Oh well.
Of counterculture that's oriented around adult demonstrations of sexuality, and how do you make like events adult, like family friendly, like kid friendly or whatever? Hold on. Chu says, okay, but real question: when are we allowed to call out weird shit like this? Reactionaries will always exist. Do we just ignore this?
All right, but when are we allowed to? When are we allowed to attack queer people? But come on, I mean, if it's too queer.
With respect, Chu. The consequence,
like, come on, do we really have to give them full right and the full rights and dignity of a human being? Isn't like 80% good enough? That's what she was saying.
The consequence of ignoring this is nil because nothing real is happening here. You're getting a weird.
Well, and more to the point, you're not able to see that is two-dimensional documents, fuzzy. blurred out documents of an event, right? It doesn't give you the context you need. And also, why are you being sus about queer things and not straight things? Like we said, like Demon Mama pointed out about the Hooters. There's a plenty of straight stuff that if this, you know, raises the red flags for you, that should raise the red flags for too.
Weird vibe from a situation, which I get every time I leave the house. I can't go to Applebee's without getting weird vibes.
I mean,
you're not like calling
he goes to
direct attention to a meaningful cultural issue. Like this is just like the weird like growing pains of a cultural element that up until very recently was completely precluded from acceptance with children.
He's still kind of seeing this as pathological. It's the growing pains. They'll get over it.
And now is beginning to be more accepted.
Yeah, I know they're a little cringe, but that's okay. Just like give them a chance. They've been downtrodden. This is not a queer affirming take that Vaush has here, right?
This is what happens.
This is pedantic at best.
When 10 years ago no children's programming could even mention gay people, and now you have like Disney show cartoons that have gay main characters, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing that we're bridging that gap, but it's going to lead to some weirdness, right? Because now all the adults who grew up with traditional pride are like, oh yeah, well now kids are getting involved in this stuff, like hegemonically, like it's acceptable.
He's way too understanding of the homophobic viewpoint and way too little understanding of queer culture
in television programming to have this. And then it's like, well, how do we integrate, how do we make pride, you know?
Yeah,
and don't
exactly.
get me wrong, there can be
Johnny.
Negative outcomes and externalities here. There are some things that I really don't like the child drag queen thing. I really hate that. I actively dislike that. But criticisms of stuff like that always have to be proportioned to the severity of the incident. And when we're dealing with like this crazy fucking anti-gay
way to split the baby, Vaush, way to split the baby,
like propaganda wave right now.
I mean, it sucks for the baby. It fucking sucks for the baby, but way to split the baby.
Important to be careful.
It's great for you.
With respect,
good
you
job,
get
Vaush.
when you're told to be
He's like, how do I clout max in this? Okay, split the baby. There we go.
Because people telling you to be careful, you read as silence, you know, cisgender person, do not unveil, do not look, do not see, do not tell, you know, and you interpret it, I think, as like a, you know, like put it under the rug kind of deal. What I really think is just like, you have to accept that some friction here is inevitable, and depending on how it's handled, it can be really destructive. And that's the concern, right? But she was a point to normies, this looks like grooming. You have to understand that first of all, to normies is
great chat, huh?
Kind of a broad stretch here. To conservatives, everything queer people does look.
They've had it easy for too long. Exactly, Yokio.
Looks like grooming. They're literally calling people groomers for acknowledging the existence of gay and trans people in like schools. The idea that like this is going to be blown over by appealing to some sort of like hyper restrictive hegemonic norm is just not the case. What we need to do is exercise discipline as a community. Are there weird people in the leftist
discipline? Oh yeah, this is an RGR take. Vaush, you just backwards into some RGR dung. Congratulations, Vaush. I knew you wouldn't disappoint. Or I knew you would disappoint. And either way, right? That, like, we need to go. The queer community needs to police itself. We need to be looking for that sus person in the queer community, and just throw him to the crowd, throw him to the chuds. No, okay, he didn't say all that. Okay, I'm not gonna put words in your mouth, Vaush, right? But definitely, you're talking about some kind of purge or something. You're talking about the queer community, like being suspicious of itself. And of course, like if you see some harm being done, call it out. There's nothing like wrong with that. But oh my God, he's saying like police the communities, like be on the lookout, right? I don't see the reason to be on the lookout. I don't see why we should have to be on the lookout any more than anybody else. I think there's a lot of organizations, a lot of cultural institutions, let's just say, that have a lot to answer for, that have a lot of explaining to do in terms of the amount of abuse that has taken place in their, you know, confines, right? I'm talking about the church. and more than just the church. Riley Vaush
who will like jump on any conversation.
Oh my god, this is terrible.
Kink at Pride isn't bad because children do kink too. Yes, because there are weirdos in every single community on Earth. But I don't think we should then blow up that minority of a community into being representative of like the evidence of the grooming or whatever. Shu, with respect, they've been doing that for decades. Shu says all the GOP has to do is show stuff like this on ads and it's over. Shu, that you will never win in that direction. Ever. You will never win.
Gosh, like, please, Garfield, take your own advice.
Shu, if the GOP gets more reactionary than they are, your little video bit of you yelling that all the straights are arrested with the bi flag, remember? You're like running around with the bi flag and you have the bullhorn and you're yelling about how the straights, it's illegal to be straight. Like, they'll get that too. Literally. You're only, your head and nose above the water, Shu, but like, they're insane. You can't win this by going like, all right, all gay people on Earth, just make sure to never do anything that could ever look weird, no matter how badly people misinterpret it. And they'll not have anything to get you with. If people want to frame like queer people as groomers, they'll continue to do so no matter what. How do you think the Nazis framed Jews back in the day? Well, they've been framing like gay people as groomers for ages before mass media even existed in the way that it did now.
Wait, why does Keffels has like red, doesn't she?
How do you think they did that back in the day?
Did I see that right? Did anybody see what Keffels' color was?
They don't really need evidence, do they? Yeah, no, radical reviewer. I don't want to make this about assimilation.
Radical fucking reviewer.
I just want to make this about like.
What is up with radical reviewer hanging out in the Vaush chat?
Proportional addressing, because I know where Shu is at, because I literally did this last year, where it's like you have people who are acting crazy weird. No, Shu, don't get me wrong, the vibes are weird, but vibes will always be weird everywhere, and we choose when to blow it up, right? Because I remember last year, the thing that really got me last year, it wasn't the kink at Pride stuff itself. It was the way people on Twitter treated it. Because, man, there were some people on Twitter, some lefties. You people are psychotic, okay? We're like, and listen, okay? Whatever your reaction to kink at Pride, the discourse.
Anybody that tries to tell you, and this includes Demon Mama. Anybody who tries to tell you that Vaush is better, is full of shit. Full of shit. How are people supposed to get de-radicalized in this community when this dude's got queerphobic brainworms swimming all around in his cerebrum? How are they supposed to get better? How are you helping, Vaush? I don't fucking... What is your fucking excuse?
An appropriate reaction is not saying, well, that's okay.
Oh, if you don't pet the cuffle, it will change color. That's probably what happened.
Okay, because kids are also into
That's probably what happened.
I don't care. Listen, yeah, I know. When I was 15 years old, I was doing kinky shit, okay? Phenomenal. I know. Shut up. Holy fuck. You have no idea.
I mean, that goes great with his characterization of trans people as mentally ill. This is like the same old Vaush. In case you were wondering, where, like, if you're like Xander Hall, like, I miss the old Vaush. Where did he go? He's right here. He's right here. He hasn't fucking changed. Come on.
Like, please shut up. I don't care. You could, well, technically, you know, Chilrick, I don't care.
Now he's just got somebody on the right to argue with, so he can like make himself seem left to his community.
It doesn't matter. It's not real. Shut up. We don't. Nobody cares. Shut up forever. There's no value whatsoever that you're adding to any of this. Nobody. No, shoot, I saw that too, and I got really angry at these people.
Don't worry, chat. This has got to be like over soon. This is just Vaush. This is so boring. If you're gonna talk to her that much, just have her on.
And don't get me wrong, a lot of these people I think legitimately are creepos, as is the case in any, you know.
A lot of these people, what? A lot of what? Vaush, what are you talking about? What? Wait, a lot of these people are creepos? A lot of people in the ops that like right-wingers put together to try to smear queer people are creepos? No, he shouldn't have her on. I'm just like, it's annoying that he's like sitting here talking to her for hours.
Whatever. But I think a lot of them just see like, the writing on the wall. And they just do the same like grug-brained, like either pro or anti attitude that a lot of people have when it comes to like a big issue they care about, you know?
Oh, so he wants the nuance.
Like, you know how some people will defend Hillary Clinton to like every.
This is the Chud logic take. Where's the nuance, though?
Single thing she's ever done.
Where's the nuance? We gotta have the nuance.
Because she was better than Trump. You know what I mean? Like Hillary Clinton. Like there were people who would defend Hillary No matter what.
Oh my god, I want to get through with this. I want to get through with this.
Like,
I'm so done with this shit.
I think a lot of people are just like that by default, unfortunately. So there are people who, when they think in their head, they're like,
that's
okay,
wrong.
Well, I don't think kink and pride is a big issue. So they'll adopt any defense, no matter how fucking stupid it is.
Vaush, of all people wants nuance, like, right?
Just in their head, it's like a fucking pachinko machine, and the balls are dropping down the pegs, and they're like, what's my defense going to be? Oh, yeah, kids can do kink too. It's, oh, yeah, whatever. I don't think it's motivated by a desire to excuse or permit or enable child abuse. I think it's motivated by a desire to keep people from overstating the case when it comes to the harm done by, like, the kid kink and pride whatever stuff, and that's the main reason why I've moved off of it. I still think there's, like, some weird stuff there, but I think the weird stuff doesn't have to do with predation. It has to do with a cultural mismatch, and that's very, very different, right? So, like, to give you another example, let me think of another example.
No
okay?
slurps
There are, like,
no slurp juice for
tribes
Vaush
around the world where chicks just have their tits out, right? Like, that'd be considered inappropriate. Like, hey, let's all go to this festival, or, well, New Orleans, right? The French Quarter? Mardi Gras festival. Chicks get their, well, I think culturally they get their tits out, but, like, I don't know if that even happens because it's also touristy anymore. Yeah, in the French Quarter or whatever. But but in theory, right? And you're supposed to have your kids in bed by then. But, like, imagine if you went to some, like, I don't know, this is, like, super dumb, but some, like, undiscovered tribe or whatever, and, like, there were people in the tribe who were walking around naked, but you're, like, a group of Europeans, and there were, like, photos taken of, like, a 10-year-old, like, French girl standing next to, like, a naked 42-year-old tribesman or something, And in the context of that interaction, and I'm exaggerating this right now,
oh my god, this is just like, it's killing me.
Clear the point that
not really, I'm not gonna die, I promise.
The contrast there,
I can't
the point
listen,
is that
I can't die on stream. That would be TOS, okay?
All the weirdness of that photo would be 100%
stay alive for the stream at least.
But
seriously,
predation.
This is doing my head in.
That photo would imply anything about the tribesman, like, grooming the chick. That the guy just walks around naked. That's just what he's just chilling.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's correct. That what you're trying to say is that pictures don't provide you all the context you need, and that something can look sus without being sus. All right, as opposed to, like, some fake leftist that maybe doesn't look sus because too many people fucking accept him and actually is pretty sus.
Sense. I'm trying to amp up this distinction as much as possible, where I'm trying to demonstrate that the what we're looking at there, all the weirdness, is a product of cultural differences as opposed to predation. And that's a huge, huge, huge deal. Because what conservatives will say when they see shit like this...
Here's my problem. You are saying that LGBT culture is antithetical to family values. What I want to tell you is that when you started, you didn't say the word, right? But that's what you're getting at. That's what you're getting at. There's the way of living for the family, and there's the way of living for LGBT people, and this is not compatible. Vaush, that's why I haven't talked to my sister in over a year. Okay? Because her way of living, her way of being, is apparently incompatible with my way of existing. This puts boundaries, this puts barriers in between the queer community and the broader culture. This is fucked up. I could make a comparison, right? That's not kind of a non-linear one, but yeah, we're being held separate from the rest of society. We're being judged by a different standard. We're being asked to, do things to watch for things, to police ourselves, things that no other segment of society that's not marginalized has to do. This is fucked. And the fact that you can't recognize it shows that you are no leader for the left.
Is that it's predation. Oh no, it's not just decades of mostly adult-oriented pride, aesthetic, and cultural paraphernalia.
Oh my god!
Clashing now with the fact
how
that
long is he going to talk about this?
Children even been considered and capable of being accepted as gay or trans.
He's weak.
No, this must be some effort to groom
He's accommodating.
Children. Of course, that's ridiculous. Of course, it's not. But if you accept it as a cultural
Here's another word we could use for Vaush. Intellectually captured. How about that, Vaush?
And all of a sudden, all this makes way more sense, doesn't it?
Intellectually captured by reactionary thought patterns. That's our dude. Come on, play.
Right? Yeah, and in Europe, right? In Europe, nude beaches are more common. There are some nude beaches in America. The point that I'm getting at here is I need it to be understood clearly that there's a huge difference between the vibes being off due to predation and the vibes being off due to cultural differences. You know what I mean? And it's so different there. So for example, okay, one area
Vaush made you nauseous. I understand.
Is at purity balls. Purity balls, which are when a dad will take a daughter to a ball to pledge.
Oh, this shit is fucked. Okay, yeah, this shit is really, really fucked. Like this stuff has always made me uncomfortable. Like there's like it's like the daddy-daughter date thing, and the idea of it is supposed to be that the dad is setting a standard, showing the daughter how a man should treat her. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. It's creepy. It's more than just vibes. It's a weird, and what he's talking about, yeah, purity ball. This is like it's like a prom for dads and daughters, and I think to the daughters like pledge to be like, oh god, what do Christians call it? Abstinent. Yeah. Is that, I think that's what, is it connected with the abstinence pledge? I think it is, right?
Her virginity till marriage.
Yep. Okay.
On his honor, basically, you know.
There's no equivalent for moms and sons. It's real. Oh yeah, and if you tried to propose one, it would be considered super weird. Yeah.
Right. Now, if you take a photo at a purity ball, right, what you're going to see is a bunch of
like what we're coming out of, Vaush, is a society in which women were property, in a society in which you were a man's daughter until you were a husband's wife. And when I say when I use the genitive there, when I use the possessive, I mean it in every sense of the word, right? You belong to them, and that's how you're treated. He is discourse control.
People, you know, adult men and teenage girls standing around in like suits and dresses. Depending on how the photo was taken, there might not be anything weird looking. Like if it's just like one guy. You took the no drug pledge. Like, oh, I
probably took several no drug pledges. Yeah.
Or, I don't know. Like, well, maybe they're going to a wedding or something. But the actual content of a purity ball is super groomy. It's not just grooming, okay? It's creepy. It's You're really going creepy. To a goddamn car wash.
I don't know. I don't want to characterize it as any way. Like I don't want to like attribute like motivation to any of this stuff. I'll just say it's creepy as fuck. How about that? It's creepier than anything you're gonna find at, you know, yeah.
At a purity ball, all right? Listen, it's just a herd of cats.
It was a transfer of property, right?
They're grooming the hell out of you. Weirdo shit. But
can you not use cats, motherfucker?
Depending on how the photo is framed, it could just look like a guy and his daughter together in formal wear, and that's not inherently sinister at all. They could be going to just like a formal restaurant, you know? Could be going to a friend's wedding. The vibes don't always correspond to the actual threat level, you know? And to my knowledge, we still don't have any evidence of any, like, grooming ring being uncovered related to a Pride event. Don't get me wrong. There are...
Dude, the Republicans are the kings of having a ton of really fucked up shit going on within their groups, right? Accusing other people of doing the same thing, never being able to prove it, and then it comes out that, yeah, you know, you were, you know, the thing that you were criticizing it, yeah, you were doing it the whole time.
Millions of queer people in the US, I am sure that some of them are groomers, in the same way that there are millions of straight and cis people in the US. I'm sure some of them are groomers. Like, that's just a math game. But in terms of there being a systemic issue here, I just haven't seen it. So blowing this up, like turning it into this discourse, just seems... What's a purity ball? You can just Google purity ball. It's super fucking weird. Okay, sorry, I've been ignoring chat messages.
Sockdon Left is in chat. Oh my god, this chat.
By the way, purity balls actually increase risk of teen pregnancy and risk of STI. That's not surprising to me because they're probably paired with abstinence-only education.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah. They're paired with an abstinence pledge, usually,
so
right?
She gets fucking raw-dogged and gets AIDS or something.
Okay, wow.
Hey, Merrick.
Wow. Thanks, Vaush.
Yeah, but do you all understand where I'm coming from here?
I'm a little bit
I think
traumatized.
it's important to understand the nature of the weird vibes.
Every conservative accusation is actually
And
an
weird
admission.
vibes there are plenty. You know, I've been to West Hollywood Pride, or like the Pride Parade. And by the way, the Halloween
God, so
parade
cursed.
at West
So fucking
Hollywood
cursed.
is also a Pride Parade. In Halloween time, when you go to West Hollywood, you guys know that I was. Do you guys know that I was on the front page of the Los Angeles Times once? You know that?
Do I care? Do I care? Oh, are you done? Are you fucking done, dude? Please tell me you're done. Are we gonna watch you on the? Okay, you know what? That we can. This is a great excuse. This is an excellent excuse to dip. Before White Nervosa tells me to react harder, right? We gotta dip before White Nervosa says react harder.